it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am making Portuguese tarts. So, I don't know why these things are so expensive in the supermarket, but I'm going to tackle them at home. And from what I can see thus far, they're really cheap to make and relatively easy. We're going to start with the custard portion first, and then we're going to move over to the pastry. So let's get started with the custard. Here I've got 2 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. Then I have 125 grams of sugar. Two tablespoons of cornflour. And now I'm going to give this a really good mix. So we want to get all the corn flour and the sugar evenly mixed with the eggs. I love Portuguese tarts, but they're so expensive. I remember when I used to work for a franchise called Nando's, we used to sell them for like $3 each, and they're tiny. And now I've seen them in supermarkets like Coles and Woolies, and they are still expensive. I think they're $5 or $7 for 4 Portuguese tarts. So whilst I really do like them, I can't justify the price. And they're actually, like, the amount of ingredients and the effort that you have to put in to make them seems fairly minimal, so I'm going to give it a go. Now I'm adding 400 mils of milk. And I'm going to get that all nice and combined. I probably should have added the milk slowly. You can go ahead and add it slowly. You can just watch me suffer trying to get everything combined. Oh, actually, it wasn't as bad as I first thought. It's dispersed really nicely. Now I'm going to put it over a medium heat, and I'm going to allow it to thicken, and then once I've done that, I will bring you back and we can get started on the pastry and baking off these tarts. So I'm going to have all of the ingredients down in the description box, and I'm also going to have a link to where I originally found the recipe. Alright, so now I have brought our mixture to the boil, and so I just got it to boiling point. It is thickened beautifully, so you can see here that it's nice and thick. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the vanilla extract. So you don't want to add the vanilla extract at the beginning. You want to add it after you've finished. I'm actually using a vanilla concentrate. If you're just using ordinary vanilla extract, you want to add 2 teaspoons. I'm using a concentrate, so I'm only going to add 1. So what you want to do with your cling wrap is put it over the custard and allow it to actually touch the top of the custard. Otherwise, if you don't do that, the custard will form a skin, and that's not what we want. So this is just going to be set to the side to cool, and we're going to work on our pastry. What you want to have ready is a 12-cup muffin pan that I've lightly greased this with some spray oil. Grab that, set it aside, and now we can get started with the pastry. Okay, so what I've got here is my sheet of puff pastry. I'm going to cut it right down the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one piece of pastry and lay it on top of the other. So as much as we can, we want them to match. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up the pastry as tight as I can So what we're doing here is we're actually trying to create more and more layers of pastry. And that's what we have. So this is going to be our pastry cases for our 12 Portuguese tarts. So I'm going to cut this in half. Cut this in half again. And then I'm going to cut these into thirds. Wonderful. So I'm going to push these over to the side. I'm going to grab a rolling pin and a board, and we are going to start rolling these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of extra flour onto my board, and then I'm going to grab one of my pieces of pastry, and I'm just going to dab it with a little extra flour as well. So what we're going to try to do is actually roll this out until it's about 10 centimeters in diameter. Okay. So there we go, that's about 10 centimeters. And now we're going to put it into our pastry case. Not our pastry case, into our muffin tin. So here's our muffin tin, and we're just going to add it in like this. So that's our first one done. I'm going to go ahead and do all 12, and then I'll bring you back so that we can put the pastry in there. Okay, so I have lined all of my pastry cases with the puff pastry, and now what I'm going to do, so I'm assuming that the custard has had enough time to cool, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to evenly distribute the custard into the Portuguese tarts pans. Alright, so now we're going to put these into the oven, which I've been preheating at 180 degrees Celsius, and we're going to put them in for about 25 minutes. So let's see how they turn out. I've just taken the Portuguese tarts out of the oven. They took about half an hour in there. And you want to make sure that they've got that beautiful caramelization on the top. So I've allowed them to become nice and caramelized. I'm going to allow them to cool in the pan for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to put them on to a cooling rack. And once we've done that, we can go ahead and enjoy. So I'll bring you back when we're about to eat them. Bye. So I've taken them out of the muffin tray, and I'm going to allow these to cool completely to room temperature, and we're going to enjoy them. I hope you make these. I hope you like them. I hope you like, comment and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you make these, and I'll see you next time on Do It Frugal. Bye.